Okay, so I'll just send. Okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Did you get it? And for this mic, how is the, yeah? Do we need to do a testing for this mic or how is it? Oh, wow, professional DJ. So it's okay, right? Okay, okay. And the other mic, do I still need to use it? This one. So they are not going to, sorry. Oh, this is for this. So they are not going to interfere. No, okay. Okay, okay. I'm just worried it's too close. Thank you, thank you. Yeah. Oh, I need a clock. Okay. While we are waiting, can I have everyone's attention? Before we start the session, I always like to have a sort of a survey just to understand your background. Do we have any undergraduate friends here? If you are doing your bachelor degree, you just enter the university, year one student, first year student, first year undergraduate. Anyone? No. Second year, year two? Okay. Year three? No. Year four? Anyone? No. Okay. Now we talk about the next level, master. A master year one, first year master student. Okay, thank you. Master year two, second year. Okay, and the next one I believe is PhD, right? PhD first year. Thank you, thank you. Second year. Oh, now take. Oh, you don't take picture now. I'm not properly behaved. Thank you so much. Second year. PhD year three. The third year PhD friends. PhD year four. No? Okay, so mainly our master year one, some year two, and PhD first year, second year, right? Did I miss out anyone? Our faculties, researchers, and professors, anyone? Oh, thank you so much for coming. Okay, oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And may I know what department you are coming from? Oh, we are home, right? Thank you. Yeah, thank you. All right, I think I need to wait for when I was told to start. We'll be spending about 50 to 55 minutes talk about it is about 45 to 50 minutes to go through the agenda. The PowerPoints will be shared with everyone, you can seek the PowerPoint from our library. And later you will see my style is I'm not going to read the slides. I don't think you need a slide reader. You can read the slide afterwards. So most likely I will talk about something which is not in the slides. But of course, I will also encourage you to ask questions. In fact, I would like to start with asking questions from you guys. What are the things you would like to know from today's session? We have not officially started, right? No. We have not officially started, right? Anyone? Not yet, right? Are we starting? If I can have another 2 or 3 minutes before. Okay. Because the beginning of the session is, we are doing the editing, can you cut off this part? Right? In the beginning, I will try to ask like, do you have any questions you would like to ask or you want me to focus during today's sharing? I will be with reference to this portion. Just give me 1 minute. So I will spend most of the time going through the first 4 points. The first one is publishing options, the difference between journal and conferences. Peer review, we'll be discussing about the peer review process. And the paper structure is about, obviously, the structure of the paper. And we'll talk about the submission guidelines. During the submission guidelines and during the publishing choices, I will be talking about the open access publishing as well. So if you think about these 6 components, I will give you about 30 seconds to think about what are the topics you want me to spend more time on. So for example, if you want to know more about peer review, that can be your choice. If you want me to spend more time on, let's say, resources, right? It's a multiple choice question. You have 30 seconds. I'll give you to think about it. After 30 seconds, I will just do a quick poll by show up your hand. We will go through topics one by one. If you're interested in any topic, put up your hand. We're all clear? Okay, so you have 30 seconds. Thank you. When you are doing the editing at the end, can you please cut off this part? No, yeah. Yeah, I haven't started the polling yet. Yeah, so hold on for a while, 30 seconds. All you have to do is just raise up your hand, right? Okay. It's a multiple choice question. You can put up your hand as much as 6 times, but I have limited time, so I have to divide my time. So let's start with the first one. If you like me to focus more time on publishing choices, which I will talk about the difference between journal and conferences, where you can find journal, where you can find conferences, put up your hand. Very good. Thank you so much. Thank you. Second part, peer review. This part talks about how does the peer review process works, how to respond to reviewers' questions, what are the things the editors are looking for, or reviewers are looking for. Put up your hand. Do you want me to talk about this part? Not much. Okay. 4. Thank you. Paper structure. The structure of the paper. What's the essential part of each component? Are you sure? Okay. Thank you. Submission guideline, which I will do a live demonstration, tell you how to find, this is the submission site for the journal, this is submission site for the conference, and how to fill in those forms. Okay, not many, okay. Promoting research, this is talking about after your paper is published, how you can leverage on some like social media platforms, your author profiles, ORCID ID, Google Scholar profile to promote your research. Okay, thank you. This is more for senior researchers. Additional resources from IEEE, for example, where I can download the article templates, which is actually very useful for the paper structure. And what are the places you can find more information about preparing your paper, how to become an author, better author, etc. Anyone? Okay. All right, I pretty much have an idea. I think the focus will still be on the publishing choices, paper structure, but I do need to spend quite a portion of time on peer review. And in fact, if you look at how this whole thing is structured, according to a timeline, peer review should be after the submission, isn't it? But the reason why I put it before that is sometimes if we think from the reviewer's perspective, it helps us to understand how we can structure, how we can sort of prepare or organize our research papers, which is closely related to the paper structure portion. That's why I put it beforehand. All right, so let me get started. First thing first, if you have heard of IEEE or Ieee Xplore Digital Library, can you put up your hand? You have heard of it? Very good, thank you so much. So I don't need to go through too much details, but I will still need to explain this part. IEEE stands for Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. Now, every time I mention this name, I always need to make a big disclaimer that IEEE is not just about electrical and electronics, although the full name says that. It has a long history. If you ask your ChatGPT or Gemini, they will tell you quite a long story. It started in the 19th century, 1884, by Thomas Edison, Alexander Graham Bell. Those are the names from the textbooks. We have quite a long history. We are the world's largest professional membership organization. The focus is for fostering technological innovation for the benefit of humanities. So if you think about it, since the beginning, the focus of IEEE is 1, technology, and 2, people. And until today, we are still doing the same. If you are talking about people, it can be from 2 perspectives. One is the people who are driving the development on innovations from the technical side. They are the ones that are developing the journal, organizing the conferences. So talking about journal and conference, these are the difference. In fact, again, another quick poll. If you have read any journal paper or conference paper, whether it's a long paper or short paper, if you have read any paper, even a single one, can you put up your hand? Very good, thank you so much. If you have not read a paper, my humble suggestion is start with reading first, because a commonly asked question pretty much from everyone is, how do I get my paper published? And my sort of naughty answer to that is, how many papers have you read? I always use the analogy that I'm sure we all have gone through that stage, which is studying the textbooks, doing the homework, then in the end of the year, we go for the examination, right? We have been doing this since our kindergarten and primary school time. So if I can use a very simple analogy, getting the paper published is like taking the exam. While reading paper, doing your own research, writing your research report is like doing the homework, reading the textbooks. Yes, everybody wants to pass the final exam, but if I am a student which doesn't read my textbook, doesn't do my daily homework, I wait until end of the year, I walk into the examination hall and I'm asking the teacher, so teacher, can you tell me, how can I pass the exam? What will you expect the teacher to say? They will say, did you do your homework? Did you read your textbooks? Did you do your daily exercises? So we will start with reading. In fact, reading will explain a lot of things. For example, a lot of us are interested in the paper structures, right? The best way to learn is not to listen my 10 minutes, 15 minutes sharing today. It's too simple. The best way to learn paper structure is read an IEEE paper, whether it's journal paper or conference paper, that has been published. If they are published, definitely it means the paper structure meets the requirement. So if you want to know what should be included in the abstracts, read those papers. If you want to know how the data and the figures should be reported, read those papers. Those are well reported. So reading is the daily homework. Journal paper tends to be longer because it covers the whole research process, while conference tends to be shorter. And it can be written while the research is ongoing. So that's why a lot of the time when you are reading a conference paper, you will realize the last section, they will be talking about a brief summary of the research that I have done. And a lot of the time they will also say future works, which means my research is ongoing. This is what I have reported in this conference paper, and this is what's going to happen next. While for journal paper, they are not talking about future works. They will be talking about the possible application, implementation of this research. Why? Because for this piece of work, is completed. It's done. But what we have achieved from this research, how it can be applied for the next project or next research or other subject or discipline. So that's a difference between these. Generally, conference paper is shorter because you can write a conference paper along the way of your research. While journal paper, you need to report your final findings. So that's a big difference. IEEE has both of them. We have journal, we have conferences. Later I will share with you where you can find those journal and conferences. And if your aim is to publish open access, we recommend you choose journals because as of now, majority, almost all the conference, a small portion of the conference, maybe majority of the conference, they do not support open access publishing. So this is again, I will do another poll. If you have heard of open access, this term, can you raise up your hand? You have heard of it? Thank you. So for the rest, this is the first time you heard of it? Yes? Okay. Not to worry. I'll explain what is open access. So open access, as the name says, the access is open, which means the paper, the full text document is open to everyone across the whole world. As long as you have internet access, you can find the article, you can download the article. This is what's happening, I think, in the past decade. And what happens before that? As you can imagine, it's the other way. It's closed access. But of course, they don't say closed access. They use the word, the traditional publishing, which means I'm a researcher. I choose to publish my paper. And once my paper is published by a publisher, for example, IEEE and others, what happens is the publisher will have the copyright to my research paper. And for the readers in the, let's say, another country or another university, or in fact, even the next door colleague, if he wants to get the full text access on my document, he cannot get it from me. Why? Because I no longer have the copyright of this paper. Although I'm the one writing it, I'm the one submitting to you. No, I no longer have the copyright. Copyright is transferred to the publisher. So for somebody to read my paper, they have to subscribe or pay to read my paper, the full text. That's the traditional publishing. So that's the difference between traditional and open access in a very simple English. But of course, if you need a detailed explanation, please check online. You have plenty of tools to understand that. Nowadays, IEEE offer a lot of options, and we will just briefly go through this table here. You can use the analogy of a traditional petrol-driven car comparing to a new electric vehicles. And in between, there's a hybrid vehicle, right? We all understand the difference. Traditional journals are like the traditional petrol-driven cars. Can you publish a traditional paper? Yes, you can. Can you publish an open access paper? You cannot, because it only runs on petrol, traditional. A full open access only runs on electricity. In between is what we call a hybrid journal, which means as an author, you can choose. I want to publish as a traditional, I want to publish as open access. Right? We all got the idea? The choice is in your hand. And this choice has to be made before you submit the paper, especially for traditional journal and full open access journal, because you don't have a choice. Traditional journal only publish traditional paper. You cannot say, I submit a paper to a traditional journal, it's accepted. Now you ask the editor, can I publish in open access? It doesn't. It's like you are driving a petrol car. You already bought the car. You drive to the charging station, you ask, can you charge electricity? It doesn't work like that. The same for full open access journal, it only runs on electricity, so you cannot drive it to a petrol station to pump petrol. It doesn't have that function. So you need to make a decision. What if I say, I do not know? At the time of submission, I do not know whether I want to publish traditional or open access. Then my humble suggestion is you choose the hybrid. Because for hybrid journal, you just submit your paper. You only make the decision of whether traditional or open access after the paper is accepted. Then you can decide how you want it to be. You want to pump in petrol, it works. You want to change it to electrical charging, it works. That's for hybrid journal. But for traditional and full open access, you only have one option, right? And this is a website, which I will show you in the live demo as well, which you can find information about whether a journal is a full open access journal, whether it's a hybrid journal, or whether it's a traditional journal. It's all explained here. I will show you your live demo as well. This screen shows the author journey. Pretty much it explains what you need to do for publishing. So let's talk about everything before the red color dotted line. In the beginning, you need to do your research and write your paper. And after that, you need to submit the paper for peer review. Once the paper is accepted, that's the time where you need to decide. Now, I'm talking about the hybrid journal. Because for hybrid journal, you have two options, right? After your paper is accepted, you need to decide how you want to publish it, whether it's traditional, whether it's open access. And once you have made the decision is the final decision. You cannot say your paper is already published in Ieee Xplore as a traditional. Now, after 2 months or after 1 week, you write an email to the editor, say, can I change it to open access? It doesn't work like that. You need to make your decisions. If your paper is published as a traditional paper, there's zero cost involved. There's no money you need to pay. A commonly asked question is, how much does it cost to publish with IEEE? Well, it depends on how you want it to be. If you are publishing as a traditional paper, it's $0 with some conditions. There is only 2 conditions. Number 1, within the page limits of the particular journal. For example, if let's say a journal explains to authors, our journal will accept paper up to 10 pages, which means if your paper is 8 pages, 9 pages, 10 pages, it's $0. If your paper is 11 pages, you need to pay what we call extra page charge for that page 11, which is just 1 page. There's 1 page. If it's 12 pages, you need to pay 2 pages. So that's the condition, number 1. Number 2, which nowadays it doesn't pretty much affect anyone, which is color charging. What does it mean is, again, I need to bring, especially our young friends, back to the history. Previously, the journals are printed. They are printed on paper and put it on the shelf. At that time, if you want your figures, your charts, your diagram to be printed as color, you need to pay an additional charge for that. But of course, nowadays, everything is online, but we maintain that practice. The good thing is, because nowadays it's online, your color, your sort of figures are in color, they are not actually going to charge you anything. It's online, right? There's no extra cost. But if you still insist, especially for some researcher, they would like to keep a physical copy of my research work, and I want to have all those images to be color where it's printed, then you need to pay for that extra sort of color charges. Most authors nowadays don't need to pay that. So majority of the time, it's about the extra pages, what you need to pay. So if you keep within the page limit, $0. Now, this is for traditional publishing, which is free. But if you are going to publish as open access, so authors select OA, open access, then there is money you need to pay, which is article processing charge, or what we call the APC, article processing charge. So this is the money you need to pay. What they are paying is the publisher is going to sort of publicize, market, as well as host your OA papers, make it available to all the researchers across the whole world. Some of our new friends might be asking, well, in that case, why don't I just publish my paper as traditional? I don't want to choose open access. The benefit of open access publishing is that more people will be able to view your document, hopefully cite your paper. Citation has impact. Imagine 2 researchers. One researcher has 1 paper published in 1 year. Another researcher had 5 papers published in 1 year. 1 versus 5. Who is a better researcher? It looks like the one with 5 papers, right? Because he has more product. But if we add in the factor of time, let's say 2 years, 3 years later, we look back. This researcher only published 1 paper, but in 3 years, this single paper has been receiving, say, 20, 30, or even 50 citations. The other researcher, 5 papers in 1 year, after 3 years, all the citations of those 5 papers added together, less than 10, maybe less than 5. What does it mean? It means that his research doesn't bring much impact to the research community. Yes, it's generating, but quality-wise, the first one makes a big impact. So that is where open access comes in and help, because more people will be able to read your papers. Let's say some universities in Africa, let's say South America, they may not have subscription to Ieee Xplore. So if you publish in traditional, they can't read the full text. They cannot read your paper, they cannot cite your paper. So that's what open access helps. If you need more information about open access, it's actually here, those websites. And for your university, UTHM, if you are publishing your research as open access, what you will be getting is a 20% discount from the listed price. There are 2 conditions you need to meet at the time of submission. The first one, make sure you spell out your university name. You don't put UTHM. No, we don't recognize this university. We only recognize your full university in the original spelling, Bahasa. And the second condition is, please use your university email address. Don't use your Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail address. Use the university email address to indicate you are from this university. This is the email address. Once these 2 conditions are met, at the time of making a payment for the APC, you will automatically get a 20% discount. Now, this applies only to the corresponding author is coming from UTHM. So what is a corresponding author? Anyone? So in one article, let's say there are 4 authors. I'm sure we all know who is the first author, right? First author is the first author. The second author, the third author. There is always a corresponding author in most of the universities or research groups. The corresponding author usually is the supervisor or professor, the one with more experience, because he or she has to be the one corresponding with the editors, with reviewers for comments, for revisions. So we need that. So that person has to come from UTHM. Only that condition is met, then they will be getting a 20% discount for the APC. So that's for this part. Any questions on this portion? Yes.
For instance, as we students, and most of the time, most journals around 4 names, the first student, the first name comes from the person first out. Then maybe the supervisor comes second. So in that case, will the journal get 20% discount? That's true.
Can you repeat what I was telling just now about the conditions? Which author has to be the
corresponding?
Yes.
So must the corresponding author be in his name be second, or must his name always be first?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It can be the last author is the corresponding author. The second author is the corresponding author. Who is the corresponding author and how it has to be decided is not with the publisher. It's among your 4 or 3 authors. You people has to decide who is the first, who is the second, who is the corresponding author. I hope that answers the question. And that's a very good one because in the past, there were cases where the paper is already published. One of the authors is writing into the journal, say, now I want to be the second author. I want to be the first author. It doesn't work that way. The decision of who is who has to be decided among yourself. And that has to be decided at this stage. At the time of submission, everything has to be finalized here. We are talking about the authors. You don't come to the end where your paper is already accepted, then you're forced. People are having a lot of emails asking, I want to be the first, I want to be the first. It doesn't work like that. It has to be finalized at that stage. Yeah. Okay, any other questions about this? Yes. Yes, you can. Yeah, that's a good question. Thank you. All right, so the first part is done. If you ask me, I think that's an important part. I think I spent too much time on that. Peer review, the general workflow is like this. Once your paper has gone through the pre-screening, the pre-screening is just to check whether the topic is what this journal is covering. If your research is about history and submitting to a paper talking about artificial intelligence, most likely they are separated, unless you are talking about using AI to do your history research, right? Then the format must follow IEEE format. The actual peer review process happens here. And the reviewers will give the comments to the editors. Editors will consolidate all the reviewers' comments, then decide yes, no, or with some revisions. And that's where the revision comes in. Once the revision is completed by the authors, they will be sent back to the reviewers. The reviewer will go for a second round of revision. They call it R0, R1. Then they will make the decision. Sometimes can be a third round of revision. Both journals and conference follow a same approach. The only difference between a journal and conference is that for conferences, because conference has a specific timeline, right? If the conference is happening in October, all the authors has to be notified of the outcome by October. So in that sense, they have a very clear timeline by when they have to finish all the reviews. That's why for conferences, sometimes there's no revision. They will only tell yes or no. There's no time for revision. Journals is ongoing, so they are not in a rush of you must publish this paper in this journal, in this issue, right? They can take time for the revisions. What are the reviewers looking for? Number one is the scope. The rest, maybe I'll go through all the rest first. Validity, novelty, importance, clarity, all of these actually has to do with the research. All of this is not much about the paper. It's about the research, because after all, the paper is about what the research is doing, what the research is achieving. So generally, we recommend as a researcher at the very beginning stage of your research, for example, as early as where you choose or define your research topic, you should have some kind of self-assessment of the level and the impact of what this research is about. One of the commonly asked questions is, how do I get my paper published in a top-ranking journal? If you think deeper about this question, it's actually asking for, I would say, a wrong target. What we should be asking for is, how do we conduct a research that can qualify for a top-ranking journal? A very easy way to assess is, if let's say you want to publish a Q1 or #1 journal in your subject, spend some time to read those papers that has been published and ask ourselves a very simple question. Can I do this? Right? Is my research topic about the same level as what these papers are reporting? Is the impact of my research is about the same level of what these papers are reporting? That will define whether your paper will be accepted by top-ranking journal. It is not at the stage where your research is completed, your paper is ready, then ask the question, I have a paper. How do I get it published in a top-ranking journal? That's too late. Because, again, I always use a very simple analogy of myself. When I was studying many years ago, I was still young, I always like technical schools like Caltech, MIT, those kind of schools. I'm thinking that after my bachelor degree, I want to do a master or PhD in those schools. But by the second year of my university, after I finished the first semester in my year 2, I'm already telling myself, Alex, knock it off. You're not going to make it because the GPA is low, right? You can imagine, in order for you to apply for a PhD in MIT, your GPA maybe has to be a 4.8, 4.9, 5 out of 5. But I didn't do well. So that's the reality. It is defined at that stage. It is not until my 4-year university is done, I finish all my courses, then I ask myself, now Alex, how do you apply to MIT? That's too late. So make that assessment. That's why we always encourage our researchers. It's not about publishing. It's not about writing. It's about reading. Because reading will tell you a lot of things. You want to know about paper structure? Read the paper that has been accepted. You want to know about what the reviewers are looking for? Read the papers. In fact, if you think about everybody here, majority of our friends here, you have read a paper, right? Remember just now I was asking you, have you read a journal paper? Have you read a conference paper? Any paper. If you think about it, when we are reading those papers, why are we reading it? What is the purpose for us to read it? What is the objective for us to read it? I would say most of the time we are reading it for the content, right? We are trying to understand what the researcher is working on, the research problem. We are trying to understand how he designed the experiment, how did he design the methodology. We are trying to read for the results he's getting. We are trying to read for the content, which means we are reading from the perspective of a learner. We are trying to learn some knowledge, learn some information. And what we are learning is the content. Did we read for the structure? Did we read for his writing style? Did we ask, like, why does he use this table instead of a chart diagram or bar diagram? We didn't ask that question. We are just reading for the content. Next time, once you finish reading for the content, you may want to reread the paper again. I'm assuming that after you have read twice or 3 times the paper, you already understand what the article is talking about, what the research topic is, what's the research methodologies. The first time when you are reading the same paper, you try to read it not for the knowledge, not for the information, but you read it as if you are an English teacher or English student. You are trying to read the language, the structure, the formatting of the figures, the formatting of the references. That is how you learn from those papers. And the 5th time, if you ever make that, you are willing to spend some time to repeat one article for 5 times. The 5th time you are reading it, you read it as if you are the reviewer. You are given this piece of research. And your job is to tell the editor, do you recommend the journals to accept it or reject it? And provide the reasons. Why? If you think the author did a good job, which part he did well? And I'm sure I want to learn from the part he did well. Or if you think the author did not do a good job, there's some part he's missing, some part he can improve on, what part, which part? And if I'm the author, how I can improve? So instead of looking at what the editors and reviewers are looking for, why journal reject the papers, you yourself can put yourself into the editors and reviewers chair. Nobody is stopping that, right? So in that sense, when you are reading the articles, you are no longer just reading for the content, for the research methodologies, for the results. That's the very foundation, the fundamental stage of reading. After that, you read it as if you are learning in terms of writing. Then after that, you learn it from the reviewers and editors' perspective. And why that helps goes back to step number 1, the scope. What editors and reviewers are looking for? Yes, they are looking for accurate research. Of course, your research being correct is a very, very bare minimum requirement. No journal is going to accept a paper which is wrong. That's the very bare entry requirement. The most important criteria, for example, for number 1 or Q1 journal, what they are looking for are research results or research topic that makes impact, cutting edge, frontier leading, because the purpose of them selecting those papers is for the readers of the Q1 number 1 journals. Imagine if someone is reading a number 1 journal, Q1 journal, what they are looking for. They are looking for impactful research. They are not just looking for any research that is correct, right? So again, if you think about the question we always ask, how do I get my paper published in Q1 journal? Again, the answer lies within the question itself. You have to think about what are the types of papers that Q1 journals will select, what kind of research they will select. So that's why the number one reason the research paper is being rejected is the same. The content is not a good fit for this publication. Your research can be very correct, totally accurate. It's just that it's not a good fit. I always use the analogy of a matchmaking kind of things. If on my left-hand side, we are talking about the level of the journal, Q1, Q2, you can use Q1, Q2, but if you ask me, I don't care what quartile the journal is coming from. Why? If you spend more time to understand how this Q1, Q2 is being ranked, it's actually an average. For a journal, it can cover, let's say, 10, 20 different subjects. They have over 200, 500 papers published every year. So the number of papers being used to calculate based on for the ranking is so diverse. I'm doing a research on a specific research topic. So what I'm going to do is I will only read the papers published in this journal that is most relevant to me on this subject. I will read these papers, and again, I will ask myself the same question: can I do what these people have done? If I can, I think, well, they are doing is pretty much what I'm doing. This is easy. A very simple way to assess it is, how much time do you take to read this paper and fully understand them? If you are sipping your coffee and flip, you finish the whole paper during your breakfast and you understand everything, trust me, this journal is too easy for you. But if, let's say, you read 5 times, you still need to check a lot of dictionaries, Google Scholar for some of the terminologies that you still don't get it, that journal is too difficult for you as well. Right? That's a very easy way to assess it. It's like if I ask you to finish your primary school textbooks, how long does it take to finish the whole book? When you are in primary school, you spend 1 year. Right now, you finish pretty much the whole thing with a cup of coffee, right? So you get the idea. This is assessing the level of the journals. On my right-hand side, I'm doing a self-assessment of what is the level, what is the impact of my own research. Unfortunately, in this case, because we are the researcher doing it, so it's very difficult for us to position ourselves because we don't have references. The only reference we can do is we compare to those papers that is already published in these journals. So I would call on my right-hand side, in fact, it's a relevant sort of ranking comparing to the left-hand side, which is the level of the journal. If I'm doing a very innovative research, I'm thinking this is here, and I realize the journal is here. Well, the journal might be a top 1 Q1 journal, but I'm doing a good quality research, which is good. But what I'm looking for is I don't care whether the journal is Q1 or Q3. What I'm aiming for is a journal which is about the same level, or if you want to challenge yourself slightly higher, it's like this. It's not a fix. It doesn't mean that, oh, with this paper, definitely I can get it published in a Q1 journal. As a beginning researcher, the focus is not about which quartile. The focus is about finding the right journal to start with. The same goes for conferences. And that's why you need to spend a lot of time in terms of readings. I hope you get the idea. The next two slides refers to how do we respond to reviewers' questions, reviewers' comments. So in this case, all you have to do is be patient. You don't need to rush in providing an answer. You receive an email from editors or reviewers asking you to explain something. It doesn't mean you must reply within the same day. But of course, they will provide you a timeline. Please don't wait until the last day of the timeline, like with how you submit your assignment in the universities. You submit at 23:59 right before the dot. Don't do that. It doesn't make you look good, right? Time yourself properly. And for responding to reviewers' comments, there are some tips as well. You can read it. Basically, the idea is, number one, don't take it personally. It doesn't mean the question is trying to challenge your, oh, thank you so much, trying to challenge your quality as a researcher. No. It's just about the research itself. And number two, again, the same principle. Don't be rushing in providing an answer. You receive an email with 3 questions, very simple question. I quickly reply the email, send it within 2 hours. Yes, you may have the answers for the questions maybe in less than 5 minutes, but please don't do that. Even if you type out all your replies in 5 seconds, in 5 minutes, don't send it. You just save the email in the draft. You do whatever you need to do for today, wait until tomorrow. You come back again, open the draft, you read the question, you read your own answers to see whether there's anything missing or there's anything I can improve on. Another thing which is useful is we are replying to reviewers' comments. We always, this is what I learned from the editors. Some of the experienced editor, he told me that a lot of the time, especially for our new authors, we have a very simple assumption, which is not wrong. Our assumption is when the reviewer is reading my reply, he knows about my paper. He knows what I'm talking about. Because he's a reviewer. He already read my paper. He should know what I'm talking about. Now, this assumption is nothing wrong. It is the case. He has read the paper. But we also have to keep in mind that these reviewers, it doesn't mean they are reviewing your paper for the 8 hours every day. These reviewers, they are what we call volunteers. They are professors, researchers, some of them practicing engineers. They have the day job, full-time. Let's say our professors. They teach. They have their own research. They also coach his own master or PhD students. And hopefully he has a family and take some personal leaves. Only in his free time, he has to review papers. And he's not just reviewing one paper for this period of time. At the same time, there can be 4 or 5 papers on his desk. Imagine you are this person. You read a reply from an author. Do you know what he's talking about? May not fully. You may have an idea, oh yeah, I review a paper. That's why when you are providing the reply, if you are referring to any part of your paper, please provide a reference. Which part of your reply is referring to? Referring to my introduction section, second paragraph, starting from this portion, this is what I mean. And these are the things, additional information. And so, this is especially useful if a revision is required. If let's say your paper was sent back for revision, when you submit your revision back together with your reply to the editor, to the reviewer's questions, please make sure that you have all the references, because it doesn't mean all the reviewers will refer to your original paper when he's reading your reply. Yeah, so that makes sense. Paper structure, a lot of people are asking for paper structure. To be honest, I'm shocked. Why? Because you have read the paper. You know what a paper structure is. But of course, I get what you're looking for. You're looking for a specific paper structure from IEEE, right? So we're happy to report that, oh, we don't have it here. We're happy to report that we have a website which has the information which you can download, what we call the article template. This tool is called IEEE Author Center. So if you go do a quick search, IEEE Author Center. Doesn't work here. Okay. You do a quick search, IEEE Author Center, published with IEEE Author Center. This is a website which you can find a lot of information. One of them is about you are looking for template, right? So you just do a search template. Book template, we are looking for article template. Click on it. There's this thing called IEEE template selector. I'll just open a new window. And this is a place where you can download the article templates. Of course, this only provides the formatting informations. Let's say a journal, original research. Depending on the format, most of the researchers are using, most of the students, they are using the Word document, the Word format. Just download the template and open the file. This is a readable document, which means the content is readable. It is not just some random text. It is a readable document. And the format is according to the format requirement of the specific journal. So for example, if you look at the title, it says the font is Times New Roman. Change setting. Let me reopen again. The font should be 24. And for the authors, the font is number 20. Huh? Okay, something to do with your word setting, but you get the idea. Right. So all these, they will also explain what should be included in the abstracts. It's not quite clear. It's a readable text. This will also explain how and what kind of keywords you can use for index terms. There's a list of tutorials. If you scroll down, they also explain how do you number or name the equations and functions. This is nothing new to us, right? When you read the research papers, journal paper, they follow the same. So that's why I've been keeping myself keep repeating myself, you should read. Because what we are reading is much more than just the information. The structure, the language they use, how do they format the figures, how do you cite the figures and equations. Towards the end, there's also an explanation of how you can use, how you can format references, or if you are sort of trying to cite a journal paper or book chapters, how you can format those. Sorry? Right, so let me repeat myself. This website is called IEEE Author Center. There is a search box, search for what you are looking for. In this case, we are looking for template. That's it. Right, then just read. It's a very simple text. This is hyperlink. This is the best way to learn paper structure. Of course, in the PowerPoint slides, I have a lot more information to explain what should be included in the title. Again, these are just guidelines. You don't learn from guidelines. You learn from practice. Practice reading. Practice writing, right? So I'm not going to read the slides for you. What's the introduction? What's the methodology? If you need the slides, ask our librarians. They have the full text. They will be sending it to you. I will just take the last few minutes of my time to go through the next one, which is submission guideline. I'm going to show you a live demonstration of submitting to conferences and journals. Let's go do the conference first, which is relatively easier. So if you can follow me, I would like to invite you to come to Ieee Xplore homepage. You have to go to your library. I see this is your library. So if you have not accessed Ieee Xplore, this is a good time. In our library homepage, explore our resources. We have an article databases. Right, click on article databases. There's a list of articles. Ieee Xplore is here, right? Click on it, it brings you to the login page, and you log in, you will end up with this page, which is Ieee Xplore homepage. Some of us are lost. Do you know how to go to your library homepage in the first place? Never been to your library homepage. It's okay. It's okay. If you are lost, all you have to do is open a browser, search for Ieee Xplore. Oh, sorry. I'm sure you can do a search like this, right? Ieee Xplore. X, P-L-O-R-E. And you just go in from here. And you're not logged in, but it's okay. I'm not using the login functions. On the home page, if you scroll all the way to the bottom of this whole page, to the very bottom, you will see this section says upcoming conferences. All the way to the very bottom of the whole page. No need, you don't need to log in. You scroll all the way to the bottom of the whole page. Upcoming conferences. See all upcoming. Do you see this? Click on it.
Click where? There is 19 August, July 19, 9 August, 13 September.
Mr. Do you mind? Let me go through it first. There's this see all upcoming on your screen. Do you see a see all upcoming? IEEE conferences. So for any one of them, you click on it, it's a hyperlink. Click on this conference website. Any conference, just click on one. You will see something like a hyperlink green color, or blue color, sorry. It says conference website. You got it? And click on that. If one doesn't work, try another one. This one is blocked. Sometimes the link doesn't work because your university's IT security is very high. So you can scroll down and try another one. They always have this thing says conference website. Click on them. You'll definitely find some. Right? Any hyperlink, click on it. You are lost. Okay. Let me repeat myself. Can everybody find this CO upcoming for those who have not made it? Do you see this CO upcoming? Click on it. This is step one. If you have problem with step one, raise up your hand. This is step one. You have problem with step one? I'm saying if you have problem with step one, raise up your hand. Step number two. There's a list of conference once you click on the link. You can choose any link, click on the hyperlink. That's step number two. Again, if you have problem with step number two, raise up your hand. Step number three. Once you enter this page, you will see a map at the bottom, right? Before the map, you see this hyperlink says conference website. Click on this hyperlink. This is step number three. If you have a problem with step number three, raise up your hand. On this information page, this is what I have chosen for. I randomly choose one conference. You will find, for example, attendance guideline and dates. Or on your page, you may be seeing something call for paper, information for authors, submission. These three kind of keywords. Or important dates. For me, I will always check the dates part because I want to make sure I understand the paper submission deadline. In this example, it says full paper submission deadline May 15. Acceptance notification date the 30th of May, which means in 2 weeks, I will get a notification. You can click on any conference, anyone, just click on it. You will see a conference website. Click on it. Click on it. Yeah. If one doesn't work, try another one. Sometimes it takes some time. Yeah. This is just the page. Yes. Huh? Right. So you get the idea. For whatever journal you are looking for, find out those information. So pretty much, different journals are organized. Different conferences are organized differently. The templates they are using for one conference can be different from another one. Of course, the submission dates and all those can be different. And another big difference is the topic or coverage. You need to check whether this conference actually covers the research area that I'm working on. Otherwise, it makes no sense for me to go for this conference. So if it's me, the first thing first is I always check the paper submission deadline so that I know how much time I have. So that's for conferences. Any questions regarding submitting to conferences? You can try another conference. Yeah. Mister, I'm telling you, for every conference, there is a date. If you can't find it, there are two options. Either you spend more time reading it, or you can try another one. I'm just telling you, it has the information. Sometimes it's hidden under the drop-down list. Any other questions? Yes.
I can't see the same. You have submission, but you have.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is, okay, that's a very good question. Different conferences, you will not be seeing the same line here because different conferences are organized differently. If I can use a very simple analogy, the university websites, they're all designed very differently. Agree? Yes? Yes? This university's homepage, another university homepage, they're all designed differently. But whichever university you go to, they will definitely explain what department they have, what subjects they teach. It's just that you need to spend different times to understand the different layout. I hope that explains the idea, right? So that answers the question. Yeah, please. Yes.
I couldn't download any templates. Even I did the search. Even I searched about templates, but I didn't find it.
You can't. You have to click on this. You click on the hype. You have to read the text.
I want to.
Yeah, just wait to open. You will follow the. Yeah, then you can select. Yes. Okay. So this is for conference. Another one is for journals. Okay. For journals, I will recommend you to come back to Ieee Xplore. Let me choose my Ieee Xplore homepage. Step number 0, come back to this page. This page. Ieee Xplore homepage. Okay, if you miss the first step, I'm sorry, I can't repeat every time step by step to go through everything, right? So if you can please follow me on this page, on this step. Now, normally, we will suggest, and this is what I learned for myself as well. One of the commonly asked questions is, how do I select journal? How do I know which journal is the best for me to submit my papers? Now, this question has to be asked in the beginning of my research. It is not when the research is ready. Then I was asked, oh, how do I get my paper published in these journals? No, we will do it in the very beginning. In the very beginning, I'm sure you will do all the literature review. You can find research papers that is relevant to your research. That's how we do this search. So let's say my research is on artificial intelligence with the application of artificial intelligence in transportation, especially when it comes to sensors and signal processing. Right? So that's a keyword. Artificial intelligence, transportation, sensor, signal processing. So I get 4 sets of keywords. What I'm going to do, there are 2 approaches. One is I'm very specific. I key in all my 4 keywords here. But the problem is, if I put all the keywords together, will I be getting a lot of results or a very small set of results? More or less? Less, because I'm very precise, right? Now, different people have different preferences. Some people will say, well, it's good to have less result because it's more specific, it's more relevant. Yes, if you are doing a literature review, if you are trying to find the most relevant paper, it is a good choice. But now, my mission is not to find the literature review. My mission is to find all the possible journals that covers these research projects, research topics. So my approach is, I will start with only 2 sets of results, which are the broader terms, artificial intelligence, transportation. These are the broader subject. Then within the application of AI in transportation, I will add on specific terms, sensor, signal processing. So this is what I will do. Searching. This is one set of keywords. Another set of keywords is transport. I will use a transportation just as a wildcard. Now at this stage, if you can follow, it will be good. If not, you don't need to follow. You just look at how I do it. And when you go back, you can practice the same with the keyword that you are working on. So in this case, oops, here. So artificial intelligence is one, or AI, this is one concept. Transportation is another concept. I will use a Boolean operator. I know I will be getting a lot of results, which is fine if I do a search. I'll be getting tens of thousands of results, 21,000, which is okay, because I'm not going to read all of them. The next step, there are two ways of doing it. One way is I'm going to use the year filter. This is more than 50 years ago. I'm not interested. I will use the year. Just look at publications in the past 5 years. Scroll down. And I still get 17,000, which is a lot. No worries. Additional filter, publication topics. So out of the big domain of artificial intelligence and transportation, what are some of the keywords that appears here? Some of the key terms. In here, what is the third concept? Sensors, right? So I will search sensor, do a search. Anything that has to do with sensor. It says sensor data, wireless sensor network, ultrasonic sensors. This is a good time to ask ourselves, what part of sensor are you working on? If I know my research is purely on, let's say, LiDAR sensors, that's a good sign because it only has 83 papers. So that's how you can zoom in. Let's say I'm only interested in LiDAR sensors. Click on apply. Now, your job is to scan these 83 papers. Of course, you don't need to read everything, all the individual papers, but you need to do a few things. Sort by relevance, the most related. Sort by newest, to understand the latest research publication. Most cited, to understand the level of paper that is most impactful because they are heavily cited. And this is the time when we are doing the assessment while you are reading, right? My research is pretty much here. It's not moving anywhere. But now we are trying to assess where is this paper, where is that paper. After you read the paper, you will try to ask yourself, oh, in this case, we forgot one thing. Because now we are looking at both conferences and journals. Now I'm selecting, I want to submit for journal, right? So I'll select journal. There's only 38 papers. If you have the time, you can even read all the 38 papers. Let's say after reading the first paper, I realize this is a good paper. Pretty much, this is about what I can do. IEEE Sensors Journal is here. IEEE Sensors Journal. Click on it. It brings us to the journal's homepage. It has all the information you need. Eigenfactor, impact factor, and everything. And if you look at the right-hand side here, submit manuscript. That's it. It's a direct link. If you need to know or understand more information about submission guideline, becoming a reviewer, open access publishing options, they are all here. And if you have to submit your manuscript, click on this. That's it. I made it sound like very easy, but the challenging part is actually the assessment of the levels of the journals, because you need to actually read the paper and understand it. So if we look at these 38 papers under publication title, these are the journals that publish those 38 papers. The first one is called IEEE Access. The second one is called IEEE Transactions on Intelligent Transportation System. And the third one is Robotics Automation Letters. Another one is the Sensors Journal. So these are your candidates. I always use the analogy of applying for schools, right? So these are your potential schools you want to apply. You just need to assess which one is of my level. And this part, nobody can help you but yourself. Yeah. Okay, last but not least, I'll quickly show you some website, open.ieee.org. And all these websites are listed in your PowerPoint, in the PowerPoint you're getting, which has the information here. Yeah. Right, it's all here. Open, IEEE Author Center, IEEE Xplore, as well as before. This IEEE Open is the website where you can find information about publishing with IEEE and open access. I know you have a lot of questions. We have a lot of answers. So for authors, We have this author workflow. It's a video. Watch the video. They will explain to you how is open access publishing, how does open access publishing works. And remember the 2 points I was sharing earlier. If you want to get the 20% discount, number one, write your university email in full. Don't write UTHM. Number two, please use the university email, which is at uthm.edu.my. It is very important, these two. Once these two are matched, and of course, it has to be the corresponding author. For your first author, second author, of course, we encourage you to use your university email, but if you don't use it, it's fine. But corresponding authors, please use university email, university names, right? So that's one. Additional resources, we have FAQ. You have a lot of questions, we have a lot of answers. All the answers are here. And under publishing options, IEEE title list. As I promised in the beginning, this is the list. You can download the PDF or Excel. I would recommend you to download Excel because you can do the sorting and filtering. This is the list will tell us whether a journal is full open access or hybrid open access. And if you are looking for the rankings, the quartile, journal impact factor, 5-year impact factor, it's all here. This is the full list. I'm opening the PDF version, but if you download the Excel, you can actually use the sorting option. Let's say I only choose Q1, Q2. I only choose hybrid journals. So that's how you can sort it. All these are under IEEE Open, this website, right? And the last one, which I actually have shown you, is the IEEE Author Center. I hope my page is still open. Yeah, IEEE Author Center. There's also some video tutorials to explain the stuff. This is the resource. I think I skipped the part about the promoting resources. Basically, what it tells you is you need to build up your profile, right? Whether it's a Google Scholar profile, Ieee Xplore also have an author profile, or we recommend actually every researcher, if you have to publish with any publishers, including IEEE, you need to have an ORCID profile, which you can find more information from the PowerPoint. I think I pretty much covers everything I need to share today. We still have a few minutes for Q&As. So is there any questions you would like to ask? Oh, all good. Information overloaded. Not to worry, because the workflow is recorded in the PowerPoints. If you go back to the PowerPoints, you have all the hyperlinks. And if you can revise on that, that will help a lot. Again, if you ask me, you can forget everything I told you today. Just remember two things. Number one is this website, IEEE Author Center, because if you have a question, you can come back and search and ask. This is where you can download the article templates as well, right? Number two, don't worry about publishing. Spend more time on reading. Reading can teach us a lot of things. All right. If there's no question, I think I'll pause here. We'll still be around for a few minutes. So if there's any questions, please feel free to ask. I didn't have the time to go through about the initial part, which is the literature review, because that's mainly a topic for another type of training we deliver, which was bring our researchers to the IEEE Xplore homepage and spend more time talking about searching in IEEE Xplore, how you can strategize your searches, how you can use the filters to find and filter the most relevant publications, the latest research, identifying key research topics, and establishing collaboration opportunities with top researchers. That's a different topic. The focus of that session actually shares the same principle, which is spend more time on reading to understand what the paper is about. Yeah. If you are, I know towards the later part, it's a bit fast. I think our library has kindly recorded the session. You can check out the recordings in your intranet, I believe. And if you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out our library and librarians. We'll always be around to assist. And of course, last but not least, all the best to your studies and research. It takes a long time, but plan it, manage it in a progressive manner. Don't worry about the end product, which is the publication. Spend more time on the initial building up the foundations. That will help us in the long run. Right? Right, thank you so much for your time. I haven't introduced myself yet. As I'm guessing by now you know my style. I never follow the PowerPoints. My name is Alex. I'm the manager for client services in IEEE for Asia Pacific. IEEE's headquarters is in United States. The headquarters has a bigger office, about 1,000 plus staff. In Asia, we have a very small office. We have one office in Singapore, I think 11, 12 staff. We have another small office in in Beijing, less than 10 staff. In Tokyo, we have 2 staff. In Europe, we have 3 staff. That's pretty much us. But of course, staff side, we are a small organization because staff is not our focus. Our staff is actually serving our members. IEEE as of now has over 530,000 members. A lot of our professors from universities, top universities, they're all members. I myself is also an IEEE member. So I'm joking to myself, I had to sell myself as well because I'm also an IEEE member. I didn't have the time to explain the organization of IEEE and how it organized, how it works. So you may want to go out and find out yourself. IEEE provide a global platform for you to know more people for professional development, to participate in conferences, events, workshops, tutorials. It's actually very good for your professional development. A lot of well-known researchers, if you look at the portfolios, well, they are either IEEE fellow, IEEE senior members, and IEEE editors. Yeah. So welcome to IEEE, and we definitely thank our researchers and as well as our students for the interest in IEEE publications. We hope the IEEE journals and conferences serve as a very good venue or reference resources for your research, and we definitely welcome you to consider IEEE journal and conferences to publish your research. All we have to do is all you need to do is spend some time to read and identify the appropriate venues, whether it's a journal or conferences. And we hope today's sharing is useful for that part. All right, with that, thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, sorry, you should have done the opening. Sorry, I just started. I'm formally.
For those who have registered, it's okay. And for those who not registered, please go to this level. Okay, you can scan or you can fill in the form there. And Mr. Alex already shared with me the slide. And after this, our staff will email to you. So make sure you put your through email in the form. Okay. I think that's it for us. Thank you once again for coming. And I hope you can get benefit from this study sharing session. And maybe we can have another session, like Mr. Alex says, about the literature review or anything else regarding the writing in IEEE. Okay. Once again, thank you, Mr. Alex, and until we meet again in another session. Thank you.
Thank you.